Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
and we're here to reveal our first five-timer club member, Lucas Scheffel. Sit down.
Hey.
All right. Mr. Five-timer. You got a special T-shirt. We could get you a gold jacket.
Wow, that would have been exciting. Yeah,
Yeah, it would've really
I was curious when you guys were sending me this T-shirt. I didn't know what it was, and you were very elusive and cryptic about it. So
tried to be.
yeah,
do you like it? I mean, we took your.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trevor
it's great.
designed that. So.
Oh, cool, awesome, well done. I feel very privileged to be a part of the Five Timers Club, and I can't recall being on here 5 times, and I can't remember what we actually talked about. But
This is your fifth time.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's my 5th time. That's
Yeah, we've talked mostly about you, as it turns out, and your life and what you're doing, and we just sit here. And...
Well, I'm yet to start up my own show, so when I do,
yeah,
you guys will be the first.
Okay, sure. Oh, we've heard that many times. No, I'm kidding. So what is so you've told us before the show that you've stopped your traveling.
Yeah.
You were
we've stopped for a little bit. We're sort of 3 hours out of Brisbane, not quite settled down, but we sort of went into a rental just to work on originally it was to work on some bigger projects that we had sort of on the sidelines that we kind of felt like we needed a bit more mental and physical space to sort of deal with, and then we've done that, and plus my caravan has been leaking a little bit here and there, so especially with a lot of rain that we had previously. I'd kind of get it under cover, and I've got to go in there and work on it and so I can fix the leaks. But I had a look at it the other day. It was fine. It's all good, so it's not
well, it's just not mildewy. That's the worst thing is mildew.
No mold and mildew or anything like that. Okay. So that's the main thing. So, yeah, that's sort of what we're doing at the moment.
So one of your projects is a Kickstarter?
Yes. So come next Friday on the 11th of November, I'm launching a sort of impromptu Kickstarter. I thought I wanted to see the year out and launch a book before the year is out, because every year up until this year I have launched a book. So I'm going to be launching a collection of sort of dad jokes, funny sort of jokes with Fred and Gary, so Angry Fred and Gary Gorilla. And some of you might have noticed on our Instagram page, Angry Fred Comics Instagram page, over time I've been showing these sort of antics between Fred and Gary. They just talk to one another and like either knock jokes or like really, really bad dad jokes. And they're just up there to obviously entertain everyone. But I thought I've got a bunch of them, so why not create a compilation of the favorite ones and the ones that have been most liked. So next Friday I'm launching this book here called Fred and Gary Volume 1. And so it's going to be a 64-page comic book following the antics and random antics of Angry Fred and Gary the Gorilla through the Instagram comics. And there's some cool fun like behind the scenes content in here as well that people can sort of read and get to know how I created the characters and some of the artists that I worked with to get there. But there's even some sketches that I did myself.
Okay, we'll trust you.
Yeah, last time. But this is like a proof of the book that I got done up. So there's going to be some cool rewards connected to it.
Like?
So we're going to have. There's actually something I haven't done before. Is I'm going to create a very special reward where I'm going to do an A3 page sketch, and I'm going to draw it myself, and it's going to be of Fred and Gary sort of fighting in kind of like a King Kong-esque Godzilla type scenario.
So two of them together?
Over a couple of skyscrapers and stuff, and a lot of mayhem and helicopters and UFOs flying in the sky. So I'm going to be drawing that and not giving it away, but getting people to pledge and they can buy that one of a kind piece of artwork. But there's some bundles with books and t-shirts and some little kind of Lego style figurines.
Oh, you saw those? Yeah.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. yeah, so that's what's happening with that. So yeah, I've got 10 followers so far on the pre-launch page for Kickstarter.
We're
So I'm
one
really
of them.
happy about
So
that. So yeah, I know you are. Yep,
yeah,
yep, yep. You are. That's great.
true to our word. So, and then you're also working on a separate project of just Gary the Gorilla as a spin-off.
Yes. So I've had a lot of messages from people, and ask and falling in love with the Gary Gorilla character from the Angry Squad. So I've decided I went out and wrote a 28-page comic book that just follows him on a series on his own, like a solo series.
Mm-hmm.
So just been going through I've got a final draft of obviously of the script ready, and I've been working with a bunch of artists, just trying to test a few people out to see if I can get a certain style that I was after. And I'm pretty sure as of yesterday, I locked off an artist to work with who I'll probably be announcing in some of my email and Instagram updates, next week. But yeah, looking forward to that. It's been fun writing sort of like a solo series and structuring it a little bit more than say the Angry Squad. I feel like with the Angry Squad, I use that as my playground or your sandbox, if you call it that, and just to try things out and play around with story and characters and stuff. But this one I've tried to create something that's a bit more structured, just be 28 pages, limit to that, and then I'll do 4 issues that will follow some sort of arc as well. So so maybe there might be some Angry Squad characters that pop up here and there, but we'll see.
Okay. Oh, so you get feedback from people. That must be weird. I feel like we do this ours in a vacuum, but put it out there and okay.
Just
yeah. So you've recently also started printing through Artithmeric.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I launched Angry Squad 1 on there just a while ago. It was really cool. It was up against your comic book as well when it popped up. So,
that's right.
I don't think anyone's bought anything there
just
yet, so I haven't checked today. But it's definitely up there.
They'll send you money once a month if you get something.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I believe I haven't gotten one in quite a while.
Okay. I'm just happy for the exposure and just another avenue for it to sort of be on and other people to find it. So.
And you're also printing through Kindle?
Yeah. So Amazon KDP, I decided to sort of venture into that and get another avenue there for that too. So Angry Squad 1 and 2 is available on there too. So.
But you can print it there too, right?
Yeah, it's like a print on demand type thing. So you just upload your digital files, you go through the arduous process of trying to get that right. It's sometimes a little bit tricky just getting the bleed in the margins correct, because obviously Amazon's algorithm and bots and human people go through and come in and go, hey, you've got this image or text outside this bleed. So bit of back and forth there, but once you get it up, it's fine. And then someone buys it on there, they just print it in whatever country the person's buying it from, so whether it's the US, UK, Australia.
We're digital there on Kindle.
Sorry?
We have ours are up there on Kindle as digital.
Yeah. Digital, yeah. I haven't got them set up as that. That's the next step.
Because when you do the digital, you can have it also print available.
Yeah.
But we haven't done that.
Yeah. So I'm still looking at that.
I don't like their little software where you have to build the thing is really like
it's clunky.
Bloop, it just goes away and I'm not really. You think for a major outfit they could have it be a little smoother, but
yeah. I think in the years to come, like maybe they'll improve it. Hopefully,
they've had it like this for a couple of years, so I don't know if they're going to improve it.
Maybe.
They got to go into space and all that kind of stuff. Is wrong.
They've got to send him into that space and that interesting looking rocket.
Yes. Phallic symbols into space.
Phallic, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, what is the? Can you tell us anything about the Gary Gorilla stories, or is that a top secret? You'd have to kill us.
Yeah, you'll have to. I'll have to kill you and never be seen again. Let me see. I'm just trying to think how much I can give away and how much I can't.
So Gary Gorilla's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
He eats pizza. Like it's his trademark thing. He likes his pizza. Yeah, he's a little grumpy in this one. He's a little bit angry. He's got a few issues he needs to work through.
Well, your characters are kind of angry. Why is that?
They are. I don't know. Maybe deep down I'm angry. It's my therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, what can I say? Well, I don't want to give too much away, but it's. Let's just say he's one of these. He's like a go-to guy that people ring up to deal with the supernatural entities and elements that pop up in towns or people's houses and stuff like that. So he goes in and helps out, but he's very sort of solo and gung ho. He has people around him that can help him, but he just decides to push them away and goes on his own journey. And when he does that, he obviously finds a few things out about himself, through these journeys, through these people that he meets when he's dealing with these supernatural entities, and that sort of thing. But I don't want to give too much away because
no, I understand.
Might spoil it for people that are watching.
Yeah, is there anybody watching? No. Anyway,
maybe no one's watching, but yeah.
I do appreciate you advertising you're going to be on it. But
I try, man. I try. You guys are really good at what you do. You're very consistent, which I admire. With your good YouTube videos.
Well, we try to do one every week. I think I'm not sure about the 25th of the month, since it's Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to do one, but
do you guys obviously celebrate that quite big, like Thanksgiving into that weekend? Or
yeah. Well, last couple of years we've been staying home, but we're actually going out going to see my wife's family at Thanksgiving, and so we have to drive up 3 or 4 hours or 5 or 6 hours away, and nice. I don't think they're going to want us to set up this, green screen. Hey,
get them involved in the background. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, so we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here, so it's because it's pilgrims, landing here. Yeah, I can see that. Why wouldn't be in Australia? I think Canada has a Thanksgiving, but it's like not the same time as ours. No, it's different time. Yeah, and I was like, why do they have Thanksgiving? But, but it's I think it was codified into law by Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the turkey is a thing you have to have on the day.
You don't have to, but traditionally it's a traditional thing. Some people have ham, some people have roast, some people have tacos and enchiladas, because that's there's no set thing you have to have.
Right. It's more of a guideline than a rule.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea if the pilgrims actually ate it or not. We just go ahead like it is. Yep. I was a little surprised you guys have, and it's just me being stupid, you have Halloween down there. For some reason.
This is the thing. No, this is interesting, right? So Halloween, when I was growing up, was not a thing at all. Didn't exist, and anytime it was advertised from America on the TV, in the news and stuff, a lot of Australians would be like, "What is going on there? What's it's not traditional, it's blasphemy and all this sort of stuff." And I guess there's a religious element here. There's very people that are very connected to that, and that's cool, whatever. Over probably as that generation, my generation has obviously got older and they've had kids. It's a cool thing now. So there's a lot of parents that take their kids out and do Halloween. And when you go to the stores, like big stores here, it's like our version of Walmart's over here. Mm-hmm. You walk in and there's pumpkin heads and there's skeletons that you press and they make sounds, and you can decorate your whole house up if you want to.
Yeah, some people do. Some people, it's their Christmas is Halloween. I personally don't, but
you don't do it. Okay.
We usually do this year we didn't do. We usually do jack-o'-lanterns, but now also it's kind of the harvest time here.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of pumpkins.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but do you guys have
total sense?
It's not harvest in Australia.
They import the pumpkins over. Yeah.
Really?
I was in the grocery store and I was like, oh wow, I could buy a big pumpkin to make a jack-o'-lantern. And I did a mini one. I just bought a mini one with my son. I just gave it a go and just to experience it. But on Monday when Halloween was on, where we're living at the moment, there's this specific set of streets that did up their houses, the decorations and tombstones out the front, skeletons and all that, and we took my son Phoenix and his cousin around, and they dressed up as Mario and Luigi, and they got like a lot of a lot of people like, oh, Mario, Luigi, and it's pretty cool. But they had a lot of adults and kids were just dressed up, and there was a guy on a Harley Davidson who was dressed up as Ghost Rider.
Okay.
His skull, and he had cellophane like as flames on his head.
Yeah, wow.
He was driving up and down the street.
If you're an adult, it's called cosplay.
yes, that's true. Dress ups. But it was interesting because going back to like the Halloween, like you saying you didn't think Australia had Halloween. It was interesting seeing these houses all done up, and then scattered in between these houses were some grumpy old people who had big signs up in front of their houses saying, "Oh, no Halloween here. We don't celebrate this. No trick or treating." So
heathen holiday.
Yeah, almost. It was it was very, very interesting dynamic when I was like, this is. Some people aren't as accepting of it just yet.
Well, some people. Well, how did it get introduced in Australia? I mean, is it because American culture is so prevalent that it just pushed its way in, or what? I mean,
I think so. Yeah, and I guess the stores here are trying to cash in and make money, marketing and stuff like that. So I guess it sort of trickles down the line. But American culture is a big thing here. Like, and obviously. Commercial TV, we play your movies, we play your TV shows. Like there's a lot of that going on, and we watch Netflix. There's a lot of that. So, in the cinemas, all American US movies. Pretty rare to find an Australian film in an Australian cinema these days if you don't go looking for it. But So,
well, no, I mean they used to be. There was it the 80s or 90s? There was a lot of Australian films coming out.
Was that all the like the Ozploitation films that they made back here? Is that what?
I don't.
Based ones. Or
I remember there was one I was shown called Don's Party, which was kind of a sex romp kind of thing. Yeah.
Based on a theatre production here. Yeah. Made by a famous. What's the guy's name? David Williamson, I think, is the playwright. Yeah.
And then you have Baz Luhrmann. He's.
Yeah.
Mr. Australia making Elvis Presley.
Elvis movies.
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, which we have seen since we talked to you.
Ah, you did? Oh,
yes.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I've not seen it. No, I have seen it. Yeah.
You haven't seen it?
No, I went and saw it when it came out.
I know. It's what you tell. Acting like, what? That's Australian. It was made right there in Australia.
Apparently, yeah. It's like, this is an Australian-made film. And
you had to import COVID and all that. So,
Gave people jobs.
Yeah.
It's funny watching that film because there's people that I know personally that were in the film. Like, there was a.
You and Tom Hanks are close, though, right? So
me and Tom,
we're like this.
We go way back.
This is me.
Like, I'm over here, and he's like way over there. No, it's funny because like in the Vegas rehearsal stuff, in the '70s scenes, where they're in the
International
Hotel, there's a guy in the background with a beard, and he's on the bongo drums or something, or some big drum, and I'm like, I think I know that guy, and I messaged him on Instagram, and I'm like, is that you? Are you in the Elvis movie? Are you an extra? He's like, yeah, that's me. And he was showing me photos and stuff. But it's funny watching that film because there's a lot of Australian actors in there.
Yeah. And
sometimes it's hard for me to disengage knowing what they've done in their previous work with an Australian accent and they're putting on an American accent.
Right.
Like Elvis's dad, the guy who played Vernon Presley, was Richard Roxburgh. He's in a lot of Australian, shows and movies and stuff.
It's they do make other some of the Star Wars movies have been made in Australia or parts of it and stuff. And it's like I remember when I think it was Superman was made mostly in London, and you'd have people on the street with British accent that's supposed to be New York City, but it was kind of looked at.
Confirm for myself, the Mad Max series is Australian.
Yes, with an American. Mel Gibson's an American.
Yes,
technically, yeah.
Well, he was born here, and
he was born here,
so an Australian.
But what was funny was they dubbed that into English.
I know. I know. I'm like, why did they bother doing that? That's so bizarre.
That was really funny.
No, I would like to see that version. I've never come across it.
I saw it once. I was like, what? It sounds really flat.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman is also an American.
Yes.
Your biggest
she
stars are Americans.
They're American. It's like, yeah. It's like Russell Crowe. We kind of claim him as an Australian, but he's actually New Zealander. So.
Oh, yeah. So what do Australians think of New Zealand? I mean, they think of this as this.
I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Uh-oh.
I remember where I was at for my work back pre-COVID. They used to fly us around to all these random countries, and we'd get together and do work retreats. And I went to, I think it was in Mexico, and I was sitting at a dinner once, and there was a Kiwi guy and a New Zealand guy that I was sitting at the table with, and I got on with him really, really well.
Even though he was New Zealander.
But it was funny because we started bringing up movie stars and stuff, and I brought up Russell Crowe, and he got really defensive. He's like, no, you can have him. And I'm like, no, you can have him.
Nobody wants Russell Crowe. Jeez.
This is funny. Like, there's some interesting stories about Russell Crowe, but I won't speak to him about here, not live.
That'd be a different show.
Yeah, different show. Yeah, but New Zealand's got really. I haven't been there personally, but from what I've seen, it's got amazing, picturesque landscapes and mountains and lakes.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings films were made there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Peter Jackson, what he's done is incredible as a filmmaker.
Yeah, and
so.
they're using some of his technology that he developed for Get Back to remix. When they remixed Revolver, they used that technology.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
because they could separate it was all kind of recorded as like 2-track or 4-track, whatever, and they were able to separate them out using this technology he developed for Get Back.
That he developed. Fantastic. Well, there you go. Yeah.
So then they could remix it to make it actually sound better.
Yep.
Which I haven't heard yet, but yes.
Did you watch that series? Or?
The Get Back?
Like the Beatles, the Get Back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was last Thanksgiving.
How long was it? Was it like
it was
20 hours or something?
It was long. It was like 9 hours. It was
9 hours,
3 hours or so a night. I was glad I watched it when it was first on, and I of course bought the Blu-ray because I'm a big Beatles fan. But I haven't.
Beautiful.
I haven't watched it again because it's like 9 hours long.
Yeah. Wow. And
it kind of.
What is your perception though now, watching that, knowing what they said about them back then? Is it any different? Or?
It's a little. Well, I'd like it if they would release the original "Let It Be."
Yeah.
Because that's all the footage. All the footage is from that film production, and I don't know why they're acting like, we're all happy-go-lucky, and then you break up like in a year, and they don't ever record again until the 90s when. Yeah. Or whatever that was, but I mean, it wasn't. I mean, they come off looking like they're having a good. They drink a lot and they goof off just a ton, and I was like, come on, get on with it.
Just get to work.
Yeah, and
it's no wonder they got anything done.
Yeah, but they it's and they had like a month. They're trying to do this album in a month, and they do it like. It's amazing how much stuff they actually got through because they did a lot of stuff that ends up on Abbey Road.
Right.
They did some of the first takes of that stuff, and they actually worked on All Things Must Pass, even though they didn't. They did like one take of it or something. But I mean, they covered a whole lot of stuff, and they like kind of. It seems like they like crammed what they actually did on the album like the last couple of days. The live thing they did on the rooftop, and then some other recordings were like this was, and they tell you this was what's on the album. But he does the same thing with the rooftop concert that they did in Let It Be, and I don't really care what the people on the street think. And this is like this event that's going on. I want to see the whole thing, not cut away to. So what do you think about the Beatles? Up on the roof. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't care less about that.
Right.
I wish they would just. And then I guess apparently they took the rooftop and did a special theatrical release of it here. But I don't know. Which I didn't go to because of COVID. But I'm not sure if that was included all the people on the street or they cut that part out. I don't know.
Right.
But it was.
I guess that would be annoying because is it you saying that they're playing music and then partway through they cut to someone just
on the street because in the movie they did that, the original movie they did that.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you doing that? Don't you have footage of them actually playing the songs? Because that to me is more interesting than what some shop girl 60 years ago thought, or 52 years ago.
It's not relevant.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, it was. You really kind of felt like you were in the recording studio with them.
Right.
And he did some. He hit a mic so Paul and John are having this sort of talk after George. George like quits the group in the middle of the thing, right? Like a couple days in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, and they're all buddies, and George quits like day 2 or something. Walks off.
Right.
And or day 3, pretty early on, and.
Why did he go? Did he had enough?
It was kind of funny because they said in his diary, he's like, recorded in the morning, had lunch, left Beatles. Oh, and after lunch, he goes, I'll see you guys in the clubs. And just, walked away. And it took like a week or like several days to get him back. But he was sort of like going through a lot of stuff, I think, personally. And he was kind of feeling probably like another album, they're not going to record any of my stuff. And he was having issues, I think, at home. And it was just, he just needed a break, I think.
Yep.
But
fair enough.
It was just, but the idea that they were happy-go-lucky is like, you guys broke up like in a year, after this game, you did this. You weren't really happy-go-lucky. You still had some, animosity or whatever. I don't know. But it's a commitment to sit there for 9 hours to watch it.
Yeah, I could imagine that would be. You'd have to really be 100%.
But it's, and it's cool. And you kind of wish they would have maybe put out the music that they did during that. You still have the Let It Be album. That's it. They didn't because some of this they did. Yeah, I guess I don't think in the Let It Be remix they used any of the stuff necessarily from the film. I don't know. It's there's some stuff you think would be kind of cool if they had captured it or whatever. But
okay.
It's interesting, but you have to really like them to want to sit there for 9 hours. Maybe people have watched it multiple times and all that, but I don't have 9 hours to,
It's 9 hours to kill.
Or zip through that. Here's that fun part. Zip through that.
Yeah, no, I'm keen to check it out for sure.
Yeah, you should. And we watched the Elvis Presley comeback special.
Yes, I did see you watched that. Yeah. I like that one. That's a good one.
When he's sitting down recording with those guys, that's really great. Some of the other stuff is a little
the sit down stuff. Yeah. The other stuff is like there's a lot of gospel and sort of dancing stuff and like
I didn't the
burlesque type moments.
Production numbers I could have done without.
Yeah.
But him just wearing the
raw.
Yeah, wearing the leather and singing, that was really good.
Yeah, I think for me that's like the big draw card for that, where he's in the black leather and he's just jamming with his buddies.
Are those do you know if that's the people that were his backup group all along, or is there just new guys?
It's interesting you say that because I think so. Where he's sitting down, all the guys are wearing the maroon sort of suits or whatever they are. For that, from what I understand, Steve Binder, the guy who directed that show. Mm-hmm. He was always having issues with Colonel Tom Parker trying to because Colonel Tom wanted the Christmas special type thing. He wanted a Christmas song, but Elvis and them didn't want to do a Christmas song. And I think Binder one day was like watching them rehearse, Elvis and his buddies rehearse in his green room or whatever. And he's like, I need to capture that. I need to get like cameras in there. And the Colonel's like, you can't take cameras in there. The stuff they do in there is just keep it in there. So, and eventually he swayed Elvis is like, we replicate that and put it just out in the middle of an audience and stuff? And they're like, he's like, we can do it. But he asked to get back his original guitarist, Scotty Moore, and DJ Fontana, one of his original drummers. And I think how the story goes, like, they contacted those two guys and they said, we won't do it because the Colonel's there, like he's the reason why he broke Elvis and us up, we don't like him, sort of thing, but we'll do it for Elvis. So they came in and they did it, and that just sort of reignited some sort of passion and sort of energy, I guess, within the group a little bit. So, but I think that's the only time they ever sort of came back together.
It's too bad he didn't he should have toured at that point.
He should have straight away just got into touring and just got out there, and but I don't know. It's interesting watching the movie, as much as it's exaggerated, the Baz Luhrmann film. It's exaggerated, and there's a lot of creative license. There's a lot of meddling and molding together of different scenarios and events. Yeah, to try and get through it. Yeah, I'm still surprised that the Colonel had such a stranglehold over Elvis and just had this complete power over him that, was just unfounded. It seems quite bizarre, but yeah, one of those things. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, so I guess that does it for the Elvis hour.
No, yeah. No. But yeah, I enjoyed the film. Like, I went in very skeptical, like extremely skeptical, because I was like, I know what Baz Luhrmann's like. He exaggerates everything and he's very showy and flashy. But I think it was one of those. For his interpretation, I think it was good. I liked the musical infusion that he put into it with modern music and the old influences of Elvis and sort of bringing that around it.
Was there some scene in like the streets of Memphis and it's like rap music or something?
Rap music in the background.
Okay,
yeah. It was.
That's a Baz Luhrmann touch.
Yeah, it is definitely. But
and I think some of the relationships, like I don't know as much about Elvis as you do, so I'm not trying it, but I think like this relationship with B.B. King was kind of more of a thing for the movie as opposed to.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that'd been really cool if that was true.
It would have been, yeah. I think they knew each other, but I don't know they knew each other in that sort of sense. They'd hang out with each other and talk shop and.
Yeah, I mean that would have been really cool if that was true. That'd been like, wow.
It would be, yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it. It
was nice that they were kind of at least resurrecting him in a way,
Yeah.
And the guy that played him was really good. I thought
he was. Austin Butler did a really, really good job. I thought there was some moments where I was like, oh man, he's nailed it. Like the '68 comeback special when that came on the screen, I was like, oh wow, this is full on. Like, yeah, sort of. I was like, oh, I need to go back and look at the original and see if it matches up, because it was pretty close. So.
I was really surprised. I bought the '68 special for my wife's birthday.
Oh,
and it was like I couldn't find it was like an import. I couldn't find.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them here. You should have told me.
Here, honey, something used from Australia.
It's pretty much perfect. It's been sitting there. So I have a crazy Elvis collection here off camera. I don't know if I can show it. Let's see.
Turn in the camera.
This is gonna maybe make.
I'm getting seasick. Oh no.
I don't know if you can see
shells.
You can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a little Elvis clock.
So anyway, that's that.
Sometime I have a little Beatles shrine set up here.
Yeah, you should. You should. It was funny. It's funny growing up. I was into Elvis, and one of my cousins, she's a bit younger than me, but she was fully into the Beatles, like 100%. Like she'd always be playing them, watching. Like I think she introduced me to the movie Hard Day's Night, and
awesome movie.
All those films. So I was like, oh wow, this is cool. It's quirky.
Yeah, but I do have a little shrine here set up. I have.
Do you?
Yeah,
cool.
It's in a different room, but
yeah, you have to show me.
I'll take a picture and show it to you. But I had a friend whose daughter was getting into the Beatles, and I said, "Well, does everybody have a shrine at home?" I do. Yeah, no,
it's a good talking point, and when people come through the door, because every time someone comes to the house and visits, they come in here and they sit here for ages, looking at all my Elvis memorabilia. It's like, what's this? What's that? And I'm like, oh, it's this, that.
Do you have all his movies or?
Yeah, I've got them all on DVD. Yeah, I do.
That's quite a collection because he made a lot of movies.
Yeah, I think it was 30 something. So if you count the two, I think it's Elvis on Tour and Elvis That's the Way It Is documentaries that sort of rounds it out, sort of thing. But I've got them up there.
What is your favorite Elvis movie?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. I was thinking about this the other day, and I came to a conclusion. And gosh, what was it? I think King Creole is a good one.
It's one of his first.
It's one of his very early ones, black and white. It's got Walter Matthau in it.
Yep, yeah. Disney
He's in that.
Yeah.
He plays like a
boxer
or gangster or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. That's a really It's just a lot of raw energy from Elvis. It's really well scripted and shot beautifully.
It's a real movie, I suppose.
It's a real movie, yeah. And he sings and stuff, but it kind of just feels
King Creole.
Yeah. exactly. And then, like at the start of that film, I think there's this really good scene where he's at the window and he's singing Crawfish, and there's a lady on a horse and cart just going down the road, and she's singing back to him, and it's really beautiful. But my other favorite Elvis film, it's a bit corny, is Viva Las Vegas.
What a shock! I'm shocked to hear that.
I just like the chemistry between him and Anne Margaret.
Oh yeah, Anne Margaret's awesome.
Oh, she's amazing, and she sings in this one as well, which is really rare for any Elvis film. No one else really sings.
She's very talented.
Yeah, she's very talented. She's a real deal. Yeah, it's sort of really good vibe going on there.
One of his, does he make a few films where he's a racer?
Race car driver? Yeah. I think every film. it's either
he's
that,
a pilot,
he's either in a speedboat or he's on a horse.
But he's a pilot in some of them or something?
Yeah, pilot. Probably. Yes, there's one where he just hops on a helicopter and just flies over Hawaii, and starts singing, and you start hearing guitars and
there's some film where he's on a bus and he's singing out the window and
yeah,
always singing,
hitching a ride on the back of a truck.
And it's always like it could be a song about meatloaf,
Yes.
He's singing it.
So it's really bad really bad things like meatloaf or just strange food that you're like, oh, okay.
It's like, okay, yeah.
But sold back in the day. Okay, fair enough. You made money.
When he was really on, he was really good still. But
he was.
But he was just, the movies are just like, if you saw those, you'd go like, what?
Yeah, really bad. But so they're two of my favorite, and I like. Is it Wild in the Country? It's like a western, I think. He plays
you would know
Native American one. Yeah, that's quite good. I feel like that was kind of well-rounded.
All singing, all dancing. Yeah,
I don't think that one. I'm trying to think if that one was as well. I'm not sure. But there's two westerns that he did. I think it was Wild in the Country, and then later on in his career he did. Is it Charo, where he grew out a beard and stuff?
Oh yeah.
I watched that one go, and you could see he was trying to do something really subtle and just like very subtle as an actor and trying to do something in his eyes and play it cool, but it just didn't get there, and he didn't sing at all in the film, and it was just really, it was a really bad film. Like some of the supporting actors, like the bad guy and the sheriffs in the town, were really like, they must have been guys from theater or just like really good bit players, like really, really good actors. But it was this crazy story where he used to be a part of some Wild West gang and he went away and they were after him, but what happened was the gang that he was in, they stole some Confederate gold canyon from Mexico or something, and they were shipping it across the country, and they were trying to, the sheriffs and the rangers are trying to get these guys, and then Elvis comes in and tries to stop them and be the big man. But at the end of the movie, these bad guys have got this cannon and they're firing cannonballs into this town, and the town's blowing up and everyone's running away. He's there trying to save them, but he didn't quite work. Hit the mark with his you could see he was trying to do something, but it just didn't get there.
Didn't he do Love Me Tender in a western?
Yeah, that was the first. Well, yeah, that's true. That was his first movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Love Me Tender. Yeah. Originally there was going to be no singing, but then they saw the potential of him singing and selling records and stuff and all that. So they made that happen.
You got to have a song.
Yeah. So, but I would have liked to have seen him do some interesting things, like in his career where he didn't sing and was doing more serious roles to see. But whatever. There is that myth that he was meant to. Well, it's not a myth; it was true. He was meant to do A Star Is Born with Barbra Streisand in the 70s. They approached him, obviously, to do that. It would have been interesting to see him in that role. Probably would have worked quite well.
So let's get it back a little bit back to Australia.
Sorry.
That's fine. Film reviews. We do film reviews as well.
Come on,
on Trophy Unlocked.
Yes. Trophy Unlocked. Boxman.com.
Yes.
Yes. I'm seeing it on Facebook.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of people read those. But anyway, yeah. So you traveled around a lot of Australia. Was there a favorite? Was Brisbane your favorite part? I mean, or was there?
Gosh, with all the travels, I felt like there was parts of New South Wales, like so the state underneath Queensland, where Brisbane is, like in the country there, like along the rivers, like along Man River in particular. There's a beautiful stretch of river there that we stayed in I think it was a national park that we stayed there for a few nights, a week or so maybe. But that was like one of these things, like it was, you pay a couple of dollars just to stay there, and you've got amenities that you can use. And but yeah, nice and quiet. Had like a really picturesque sort of mountain view and this rushing sort of rapidy type river. That was beautiful. It was nice, just out in the elements, just
How far?
kangaroo. You wake up in the morning, there was kangaroos and stuff. So,
Wow.
yeah.
You gotta watch out for them, don't you?
No. No, they're fine.
How far west did you go?
West.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Australia,
So,
east and west.
yeah.
How far west
yeah.
did you go in Australia?
Oh, I'd like to Western Australia. And
I don't
stuff
know,
like
just-
that. Well, we didn't venture over that far.
Okay.
To be honest. We sort of just went sort of south and sort of maybe north. So
Okay.
we haven't done the western side of us, like Western Australia, which
Perth
we really
is over
want
there,
to.
isn't it?
Apparently,
Yeah.
We don't know much. We don't know what happens over there, to be honest. It's in a different time zone, and
Yeah, and it's also
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's a big part of Australia that's like around the
it's a
crust
huge
or
chunk.
whatever.
Yeah. It's got I've been there before. Perth is a lovely city. It's got lovely it's got lovely parklands, and there's a really nice park that you can go to, and it overlooks the whole city of Perth.
Yeah,
what
the
else?
Americas couple of ones are there.
Did they? They could. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's got a lovely coastline and beaches and stuff. It's apparently got really good wineries, beaches. It's got a lot of mining and stuff there. There's a lot of good history. I think do you know the guy on YouTube called Aussie Man Reviews? Have you heard of him?
No, sorry.
No, you should look him up.
Heard of
Have
him.
you?
He's heard of them.
He lives in Perth. That's where he's from. That's where he does his show from. So he's a funny guy. Should
So
check
it's
him
kind of
out.
like
Yeah.
different. I mean, it sounds like that's sort of isolated from civilization, or I mean, what?
I don't think it's isolated. Well, you can catch a plane to go there, but just, I don't, not. I haven't been there much, so I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. Like, I've got a friend that lives there that I talk to sometimes, but yeah. I
And
need
then
to visit more
what's on the southwest of Australia?
down the way.
Yeah,
So
what is that?
You've got Adelaide down the
okay.
bottom, and then you go over to Melbourne, and then you go up around to Sydney.
I thought
Canberra,
that was
sort of in
that
thing.
was on the east side.
So Sydney.
Yeah. I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about-
Sydney. Sorry, I'm saying
the
if you
opposite.
go around, Sydney's on the east side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's on the southwest side? What is that? Perth is west north, right?
Yeah.
What's
So yeah, Adelaide and Melbourne, basically. Yeah, down
okay?
there.
All right.
Yeah, and then you got Tasmania, sort of
But you refer to as the
overseas.
no, you refer to it as the a-hole of Australia or something.
No. Tasmania's great. Like, Tasmania's
That's
Tasmania's-
not what you said.
No, well, it seems like it is in the of the world, but it's a lovely
It looks
it's a lovely picturesque place. It's untouched, and it's very hypnotic and tranquil. There's an interesting mountain called Cradle Mountain there, and there's this is an interesting just vegetation and landscapes that you don't see on mainland Australia at all.
Did you go there in your travels?
Not on our travels. I've been there a couple of times before and explored around, but yeah, not on our travels. But
Okay.
one thing to put on the bucket list.
Yes. We should wrap this up. We go back to Angry Fred and
Yes.
Gary the Gorilla special
Yes.
Kickstarter starting next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. So
Type it again.
next Friday, November 11th, I'm launching Fred and Gary Volume 1. So the collection of Instagram comics that is in paper form in the 64-page book. It's lovely. You can get that with a bunch of other cool rewards.
Including you're going to hand draw something?
I'm going to hand draw something. Yep, very especially going to hand draw a really awesome looking Fred versus Gary, Godzilla
Right.
versus Kong-esque type drawing, which people can grab. And so if you go to my website, angryfredcomics.com, I've got on the the main page of that first page you come to, I've got a button you can click and go to the Kickstarter and follow and get notified, and when it launches, you can go there as well. The same link.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And if people want to find out more about you, they go to angryfred.com.
Yes, angryfredcomics.com. Head over there and you can buy my previous comics like Angry Squad 1 and 2 in print form and in digital. And you can get a bunch of like things like t-shirts, and learn a bit about me and my dad. So yeah.
And so you've got a special 5-timer t-shirt you're wearing now, which is not available for sale anywhere.
No,
that's the only one.
Unique.
Yes.
This is unique. This will be worth something one day. I will flip it on eBay or something later.
And so there's not a 6th-timer shirt, so that...
there's not. So if I come on this...
Well,
so what would there be, a 10th?
We'll go broke if you keep coming on the show. No, but we wanted to do something special. You are the first one to be on 5 times, even though you don't remember it. It hurts a little.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on 5 times. It's like, I think that's a world record for me, being on something for 5 times on anything in life.
Well, we'll have you back probably next year at some point.
Yeah. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a show, and you guys are gonna be the first guests on it. So 100%. I mark my word.
We will. Okay. When's the show? Every day. So, Paul?
So if you're watching this on YouTube and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and ring the bell to be notified when new videos come up. And if you have a comment about anything that we talked about here, leave a comment below.
Yeah. All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.